Hello and welcome. In last video, we have seen how we can create a database in SQL Server. Now, let's see how we can create some tables inside our SQL Server and start inserting, updating and deleting data in it. One more thing, currently if you see here, we are inside our master database, but in the last video, we have created this demo database. So to switch to this database, either you can open this drop down and select demo database, else you can say use demo. Right? If you execute this particular statement, now we will be switched to demo database. You can see in the drop down also, now we are inside demo database. Okay, and you can confirm that in the rightmost corner also, on the right hand side bottom, you can see we are connected to demo database. Okay, now let's see how we can create a table in our demo database. To create a table, we need to say create table, and then we need to specify a name. Okay, so let me specify a name here, customers. Okay, so this will be the name of my table. And when we are creating a table, we need to specify the columns. So let's specify the column. Let me say customer name. Now we need to specify the data type. The customer name will be of string data type, and the equivalent of string in SQL Server is varchar, or you can use n-varchar. We will understand what are the different data types available in SQL Server in the later videos. But for now, let's create this column with of type varchar 100. Okay, now the customer will have age also, so let's create an age column, and this will be a number, so we can say integer, right? So int is also one of the data type. Okay, till now we have created in these two columns. Now let's see how we can add a date time column. Let's say I want to add date of birth also, so let me say tob, and I can specify date time here. So this data type can be used to store a date time. Okay, now we have covered string, numbers and date data types. Now let's say you want to store if the customer is a premium customer or not. Basically we want to store true or false, and in SQL Server we don't have anything like boolean data type. So instead of that, we have a bit data type. So what we can do, we can create a column, let's say is premium, and we can say bit here. So bit is also one of the data type. In this we can store 0 and 1. That will be basically our true or false. So there are other data types also in SQL Server, but for now let's create our table with these 4 different data types. Let me select everything and click on execute. Now our table has been created. If you open your demo database here and refresh it here, you can open the tables folder and you can see your customer table has been created. If you expand this customer table and expand the columns folder, you can see these are the columns that we have created: customer name, age, DOB and is premium. Okay, so this is how you can create a table in SQL Server. And now let's see how we can see data which is present in our SQL Server table. To see the data, we have select query. So we can execute select query on this table. So let me write select star from customers. It will select, star means everything. Basically, it will select all the columns of this table. From where it will select? It will select from customers table. So this is the syntax we use to get the data from a table. Select star from customers. Okay. So let me execute this. And you see we did not receive any rows. You can see here 0 rows has been returned because currently we don't have any data. Okay. And to insert data in a table, we can use insert statement. Insert. After insert, we need to specify in which table we want to insert. So we need to say insert into customers. Okay. We need to specify the columns. For which columns we want to add the data. So I want to add the data for customer name. I want to specify age. I want to specify date of birth. And I also want to specify if the customer is a premium customer or not. Okay, so I am saying insert into table, and then I have specified the columns within these parentheses, and all the columns are comma separated. Okay, once this is done, what we can do after this, we need to specify values. Okay, so what values these columns will hold, right? So let me say I want to provide customer name as Martin. Let me say age as 35, date of birth 2010, third month, and let's say date was 15. Okay, and for the is premium, let me say this customer is a premium customer, so I will say 1 here. Now you see what I'm doing here. For customer name, I have specified Martin. And if you notice, I have specified this Martin in single quotes. So this is the syntax we use when we are providing a string value. But if you see how I am providing the age, for age, I can directly provide 35. No need to use single quotes when you are providing numbers or let's say decimal numbers. Now let's see the DOB. I mean, this is of date time format, and you can see I am providing the date time here in this format. We will cover the different formats that we can use to provide date in our later videos. Okay, but for now, let's move forward and see how I'm adding data for is premium column, that is of bit data type. I am directly providing 1 here. Here also, we don't have to use single quotes. Let me select this and click on execute. You can notice the message here, 1 row affected, meaning 1 row has been added to our table. Now if I execute the same query, select star from customers and click on execute, you can see I am getting the data here, Martin 35, this, and everything that we have inserted here is getting reflected in our select query. Now let's see how we can update the data in our database. Okay, so let's say I want to update the age from 35 to 25. So what we can do, we can say, then we need to specify the table name, which table we want to update. Let me say I want to update customers table, and what I want to update, I want to set age to 25. So let me say set age equal to 25. And when we are executing update statements or delete statements, it is always recommended to provide where statement. We will understand what is a where clause and how to use that. But for now, let's remember, if you don't provide a where clause here, it will update all the rows in our table. Currently, we have just 1 row, so it will not affect much. But if you have like 1000 rows and you update your table with this statement, not providing where clause, it will update all the 1000 rows. So it's always recommended to provide where clause when you're updating or deleting data from the table. So let me provide where customer name equal to Martin, right? Because I want to update age only for Martin customer, right? So this is how you can update data in your table. Let me execute this. You can see again 1 row affected, and again if I see my data again using the select query, I'm getting the age as 25 now. Okay, right. So update is also working. Now let's see how we can delete data from our table. Currently we have only 1 row, so let's say I want to delete this row. So to deleting the data, we have to use delete statement. Okay, now we need to say delete from where. I want to delete from customers table. Okay, and what I want to delete, if you execute this statement like this, it will delete all the rows from your table. As I mentioned earlier, when you are updating or deleting data in your table, you need to specify where clause. It is not mandatory, but it is always recommended, because if you don't provide where clause, it will update all the rows or it will delete all the rows from your table. So let's specify the where clause here. So let me say where. This time let's use age in our where clause. we can say 25, right? And we can delete the customers who are having age equal to 25. And currently there is only one row, so it will impact only one row. So one row affected. Now again, if you check your table, now you can see now there is no row present in our table because we have deleted the one row that was available, right? Now our table is totally empty. Now let's see how we can delete a table itself. Currently we have the table, right? If you see tables folder here, right click and refresh here, we still have this customer table, but this is currently empty. Okay, so if you want to delete a table, you can execute drop statement. So let me say drop, and let me specify what I want to drop. I want to drop a table. And what is the name of the table? The name of the table is customers. Okay, and guys, when you are executing drop, you cannot provide a where clause or anything. When you are executing drop statement, it will delete the table and it will also delete the data that is present inside that table. So be very cautious when you are executing drop statement. Okay, so let me execute drop here. Commands completed successfully. Now if I right click on my tables, you can see table has been gone. I don't have the customer table in my database now. And if I try to select data in my customer table now, we will get the error. You can see invalid object name customers because now we are not able to find the customer tables. Okay guys, that's it for this video. In this video, we have seen how we can create a table using create table statement, how we can select data from table using select star from table name syntax. Then we have seen how we can insert data. Then we have seen how we can update the data. And then we have seen how we can delete data from a table. And finally, we have seen how we can drop a table from our database.